Evening, folks. It's not the end of the show, it's the start of the show. Hopefully you can all hear me. Usual shout out, bloody hell, there's a lot of you in already. Hit that like button, folks. You know. Who we got here? We got John Sowerby. Burst of sanity a day so far. Barnes, you're too tired to be insane. There's lots of chatting going on already. Charles, afternoon Charles. Afternoon Jonas, afternoon Dex, or evening Dex. Evening folks, evening everybody. It's good to have you on board. Yay, you have sound, excellent. Good stuff. And picture as well. So, I did say, first of all, hit the like button. I'm going to be ending this within an hour, for sure, because the guys over at Modelling Advantage they've got a live stream evening. Terry, they've got a live stream with an interesting guest on talking about the Pacific, I think. So they normally start a little bit later, but tonight they're starting. Michael told me about 8:30. So once you've watched this, get yourselves over to Modelling for Advantage and go and watch their chat with your man. That should be good. So tell me, everybody who's out there, say hello, hit the like button. Second time already. Tell me what you're painting. Evening, Greg. Good to have you on board. I've got a few things on the tabletop at the moment. So I'll just go through what I've got here. I've got this Mark IV tank with the collapsed bridge that I'm painting for Through the Mud and the Blood. I might do a little bit of work on this today. I don't know, we'll see. I've got this another 3D printed building from Sabotage. This has been undercoated in dog shit brown. So I might do some blocking of paint on that. And I've also got Dean came over on Sunday. We played Chain of Command First World War, and I've got these two Humber Scout cars, which I had agraxed last night. So this is the first thing I'm going to do. I just need to do some detail painting on these and a bit of weathering, and then they're ready to be varnished and done. So I'm going to work on those first of all, get them done. Very easy, very simple stuff, and then I'm going to do some more on these. Again, I block coloured the bridge and the tank. Obviously, they need details and stuff like that, but at the moment I just want to get the big areas dry brushed up and things, and then I can start doing the details on the bridge. Probably doesn't need a great deal more at the moment. When I've also got this little one left over from my First World War ruins. This is one of the ironclad buildings, ruined walls. So I was just going to make that into a small piece on its own. I don't really like having just corners of buildings, though. I like them to be, part of a bigger building, but it'll do. It's just a tiny bit of scatter terrain, which isn't going to hurt anything, is it? Is that a new name for GW paint, Alex? Yes, it is. Evening, Steve. Shit. Who makes the Humbers? Been contemplating. These are the Battlefront ones decks, or at least they're the old Battlefront ones. Dean's had them for ages. He got them, I believe, for his Desert War stuff. And he's just never going to get around to painting them. He's also given me a quad with some with a Bofors gun as well, but I'm not sure if he's given me the wheels for it or not. But I've got that, so I just thought there's only two of them, so I'll just paint them, just get them out of the way. They're dead easy. You're working on your late war British, excellent. Yeah, these will probably be added to my late war British. I don't think there was many Humber Scout cars in Malaya anyway. They had mainly Marmon Harringtons, and I've got a bunch of those. So I don't need these for Malaya. So I've done them in later war for Normandy and beyond in the markings for those. Sorry, I'm just painting the highlights on that. Will Sabotage be selling the tank bridge commercially? A nice piece. You'd have to ask Paul. It was designed by Neil Jordan over in the group Through the Mud and the Blood, based on the Stout Hearts and Iron Troopers book. There's a collapsed tank bridge in one of those, and I did it in one of my videos. and I sent Keith's original STL files over to Paul, and he basically messed about with them to produce that. Hello, Ian writes, he painted a couple of 18th century artillery pieces. I'm going to say here and now, it cost me an arm and a leg, Terry. It was very expensive, but that's because Paul did it as a favour, and also because he messed about with it. So I don't know. I don't know if he's in touch with Keith over in the thing, but ask him. I would just ask him, I think, and also ask Keith as well, just to make sure he's okay with you getting it. But yes, it wasn't cheap. Anyway, that's by the by. I thought, well, I'm only having one, so it doesn't matter. I can pay for it. So yeah, I'm just at the moment just highlighting these the bits and pieces on these Hummers. Jonas says, you're not painting tonight. Hit your head and thought rivet counting might be fun, which may be buy a new bolt action army that I'm now putting together. Ace. There's nothing wrong with putting some figures together. It's always enjoyable as far as I'm concerned. I know loads of people don't like it, but I love it. I love building and making. There was Warlord Games asked a question about terrain the other day on Twitter. I don't know if they asked it on Facebook or not, but they asked it on Twitter, and it was they were asking about terrain and if people like it. And it's just I answered, but I was quite surprised at the amount of people that just don't enjoy terrain, don't enjoy making it or actually having it on the tabletop. You know, some people were saying, oh, as long as it's functional, that's all that matters. Well, then you could say that about figures, couldn't you? You may as well just have little blocks of wood for your figures. Why go to all that fuss just to have them walking about on a bottle green table? That's my thought, anyway. Your mileage may vary. Interesting discussion. Tiny's here. Come on, Tiny. Come up. You want to be seen? Come on. Let's have a look here. Here she is. So yeah, that was an interesting little aside for you there. Can you see her tail? There she is. She's looking for a bit of fuss tonight because I was out all day, so I wasn't around giving her some cuddling. So she's having it now. Now, another thing. You prefer making terrain than painting figures? Yeah, I'm happy with either. Yeah, I don't really, but I certainly I'm more than happy to spend a lot of time on terrain and make sure it looks pretty good. You love nice terrain on the table, but you hate making painting it. What don't you like about it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's only a big figure, as far as I'm concerned. You know, and you can really go to town with them because you can make them really, what's the word, personal and individual. And I think that's a good thing. Don't you, Tiny? Tiny likes terrain, don't you, love? She likes walking about on it and kicking about. Paper templates. You might as well play squad leader. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then that makes things a lot easier for you. Right, okay, that's... See, I only needed to do those highlights. I just need to give these a little brush of a bit of khaki. Well, I say khaki. This is Fawn by Deco Art. I ran out of Fawn because I use it so much for pretty much everything. I ran out of the bloody stuff, so I had to buy some. Would not build them if it wasn't for fun. That may be why I have a built and primed but not painted French Napoleonic army. Get on it. Then you can have the fun with them. You got to make them fun. Got to make it into fun. But you know, if you're not having fun, don't do it. It's only a hobby. It's not a lifestyle choice. There you go. Just get that off there. I didn't think I was going to do a live stream tonight. So I was half in a mood not to. So I've been up north today and I was a bit knackered when I came back. But I just thought no, because next week I'm not going to. Definitely won't be doing a live stream next week, because this time next week, I'm actually going to be down at Lord Island. or at least meeting up with Big Rich, I'm guessing Nick, and I'm guessing Sid as well, for something to eat, and then I'm going to be going over to Lard Island itself on Wednesday for a day of gaming. Looking forward to it massively. I think it's been big as a problem. I love painting rank and flank type models, but big stuff now. That's fair enough. But that's the fun, I think, you know, because you've seen the way I paint scenery. I just slap it on. I'm going to do it in a bit with this big fella. Wrong one. I'm going to do it if I get to it. This building. You see, I'm not really keen on batch painting. That's my thing. I prefer to paint in small batches. I can generally can't. Sometimes when it was during lockdown, I was able to sit down and just like churn out 15 mil figures at once. But that's probably the most I've done. I think it was about 60 odd. I just just sat down and painted them. But I've not really been able to achieve that kind of madness since. I'll paint in smaller batches, so I usually paint like a section or something, or a squad. Hope Rich will be filming gaming. I'll be filming the gaming, Greg. We've already discussed it. Yeah, we're going to have. I don't know what the games are yet. Well, I've got an idea because he asked me what I wanted to play, so I put a couple of suggestions in. I think I know what one is at least, but I'll not spoil it because I might be wrong anyway. But yeah, very much looking forward to it. It should be good fun. I hope my liver will be able to stand up to it. Right, that's them done. They just need a quick varnish, so I'm going to do that now. So I apologise for the spraying. Now, if you're being sensible, you should wear a mask or open the window, but I'm not. There we go, there's one. And there's two. What a cowboy. I'm going to give you a clue. It's going to start with C and end in Hainu Command. The 20mm Germans are kicking your ass right now. Got to do webbing on them tonight. Oh dear. Yeah, sometimes you just got to sit and grind those things out. That's just the way it goes. Try not to varnish Tiny. She's already buggered off. She doesn't like it when I start shaking the can. She doesn't like that. And then the hissing of it sounds like another cat, so she definitely runs off. Dex says, good custom terrains is an easy way to get more immersive table. Absolutely. I also find it helps keep his eyes away from my basic figure painting standard. Exactly. Spot on. You're not that yours is standard, Dex. I'm talking about my own there, but yeah. It keeps an interest elsewhere. But the thing is as well, you can do loads and loads and loads of small terrain. You don't have to do big stuff. Just loads of scatter is always good as well. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about. Even things like, you know, just adding a garden to a building so it's just not standing on its own on the table is a massive improvement. And it's nothing. It's dead simple to do that. I have a couple of videos about it, in fact. But yeah, it's I think it just adds so much more to things. I'm not really sure about this colour for this tank. I'm kind of doing it in a bit of a khaki colour. A brownish colour, I'm not sure. Scatter terrain gives character to an otherwise bland table. Exactly. It's all about the details. So I'm just kind of doing it in a bit of a late war generic khaki-ish colour. I'm not really very happy with it at the moment, so I might go back and repaint it. But we'll see how it turns out. So another thing, I'm going to keep saying it, hit that like button. There's only 10 likes with 21 people watching. Another weird thing over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed. I mentioned it on the Plastic Crack podcast in the chat the other week, and I want to kind of talk about it a bit more now because I'm trying to work out what the hell is going on. So normally when I evening walkabout games, when I put a video out on a Friday evening call, what I'd normally do is I would basically spam it everywhere. So put the link out on Facebook in all the groups that I'm in, and I'm in loads. And be relatively specific. If it was like a sharp practice game, I wouldn't put it in a chain of command group, for example, and vice versa. But I put it in places like Tabletop Wargaming group, and they're massive. They've got like 17,000 people in there. And just the other week, I thought I'm going to do an experiment. John says Scatter is good. Just got in some terrain from GAM models in the US, cobblestone roads, base roads for the bocage, and a bunch of shell holes. Good stuff. So the other week I thought I'm just going to do an experiment, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link to the video. I'm going to post it in on my Twitter feed, because even stuff like I put it in Reddit and things like that, on Twitter and all sorts. I'll put it on my Twitter feed. I'll put it on where else? On the Storm of Steel page, and then also in the Storm of Steel group, and nowhere else. I just thought I'd put it there, and it was one of the most viewed videos I've had in the last. It must have been like in the last 10 days or whatever it is, however it calculates it. I can't remember, but it like shot to the top, and it's been the same ever since. Working on some 1700 ships. Blame you, Hulkshire Gamer. The best correct colour for First World War 4 is Vallejo green brown 78. Well, there's a difference with that, Terry, because some of them were painted in a brownish colour. There is a big old argument about what the tank colours were. The ones that we found at Bullecore were painted green, dark green, but they were Mark IIs. But there was also descriptions of soldiers saying they were painted khaki. Anyway, this is not the point of the of tonight's video. So yeah, it went mad. Well, not mad, but it went. The views went really high. Because then I was also looking at the statistics of it, the analytics, and it seems that for some reason my videos only were getting like 4% of views were coming from external sources outside of YouTube. So that's kind of why I thought, well, I'll just experiment and not put it anywhere. And the last few videos, all I've done is I've stuck them in a few places, and they've all gone. They've got really high numbers. Like the Chain of Command Second World War one I did, First World War that I did, the recent one, the attack on the sugar factory has gone. It's got, I think it's coming up for 1.2 thousand views. You never get that with First World War wargaming stuff. Evening Duke. All well, everybody's well here. So I've got no idea what's going on with it. I just can't understand. I can't figure it out. I thought, more exposure would mean more views, but it seems less exposure equals more views. If anybody can explain that to me, then I'd love to know what's going on with it. But yeah, that's my story from the YouTube analytics. It's just very strange. So I kind of figured there's actually absolutely no point me spamming my videos everywhere. I may as well just leave them, just let them come out, and then people will just find them naturally. Less is more. Yeah, perhaps. I think it might be more. Evening, Dom. Good to have you on board. I think it might be actually, Jonas. I think you're probably right. It's one of those things, if people see something a few times, because obviously a lot of people are in similar groups and things in Facebook and stuff, and if you see it the tendency is to like something, whether you watch it or not, or whether you click through onto any of the links or whatever. It's easy to like something. Brown green is the nearest to the colour that Bombington paid to theirs. Yeah. The name is just Vallejo's description as it is a khaki. Yeah, well, khaki is anything, isn't it? Really, it's mud. But yes, it's a big old subject, tank colours. And even when we dug the one up with actual paint on it, people still didn't believe that that's what colour they were painted. Yeah, I think it is something to do with less is more. You know, people are just, maybe they see it on their YouTube thing. But I can't. The last couple of hobby updates, I've not posted them anywhere apart from, again, those 3 outlets. I figure, you know, they can all go there because they're all like my kind of personal ones, really. And again, that hobby update for some reason has just done the best of all of the hobby updates that I've done, I think. Evening, Andy. It's just currently just below the Hammerhead show report in terms of numbers, which I just do not get. Anyway, as I say, that's the way it is. At least it's not Velcro. Everything's a nice dose of Velcro. 50 Shades of Velcro. Yes. So yeah, I thought I'll do a little live stream just tonight, just because I got back much earlier than I thought I was going to. Thought I was going to get caught in snow, but I didn't, which is good. And also this weekend as well, which was good, I managed to film a couple of new videos as well. So it's I filmed a video. I played a game with Ken and Andy over in Pudsey. We filmed that. I edited that, and that's ready to go. Well, in a good few months at least. It's the algorithms pushing a lot of similar stuff out. Once you start to follow particular things, the sheer amount of First World War stuff I get now after starting to really dig the First and Front Association. Yeah, perhaps so, John, but that doesn't explain the hobby update that got huge hits as well. I know what you're saying about people are probably just jumping on the. I think, you know, it's partly possibly to do with the fact it's a chain of command game rather than through the mud and the blood, but you know, it's a popular rule set. I'm actually going to do a review of Chain of Command. I've just not got round to it yet, to recording it, because I thought there's still people who haven't seen, you know, who still don't know the rules or have played it, and it's a widely accessible game that, you know, people probably need to know about. And I was just thinking about it. It'll actually probably be more like a love letter to Chain of Command than a review. But I can make that clear in the review, because I did the how to play Chain of Command videos, but they're just, you know, they're quite dry and just, this is how this works, this is how this works. It doesn't really explain why it works or what the reasonings behind things are. So I thought that was a good idea. I wanted to do something about with Blucher as well, and with Rommel. You know, they're games I know pretty well. And again, they're games that are available. So I just want to kind of do quite a few reviews at the moment. And I'm even thinking about looking at some of the other Too Fat Lardy stuff. Well, Sharp Practice is a good one, isn't it? That's a nice, easy one. But also stuff like Charlie Don't Surf. The only problem is I've never played Charlie Don't Surf, but I have played I Ain't Been Shot, Mum. Yes, you've never played Chain of Command. There you go, you see. There's one already. So yeah, there's a number of them that, you know, could be quite people quite like, I think. I did an I Ain't Been Shot Mum one review recently. And in other news, I've been chatting to Andy Locke. He's currently writing a PhD on British tactical development of 1917. You see how easily, quickly, lovely I segued into that from talking about reviews. We chatted to him over today, just about. Yeah, I read his chapter in Darkest Year, the Spencer Jones edited edition about 1917. It's very good if you haven't read it. Get hold of a copy of it. But Andy did a chapter in that about Australians and British divisions and their learning, how they developed tactically in 1917. And he'd mentioned in it, aren't you Sheffield based, John? We can sort you out an inaugural game easy enough. John was Sheffield based, but he's not anymore. He's out in America. So it's quite a hike to get across. But yeah, if you are here, John, let us know. See, there you go. Trying to get into I Ain't Been Shot One, but it feels like it's missing half the rules, or at least half the arsenal. Moving on to Star Wars Chain of Command in the meantime. Good stuff. What do you mean by half the arsenal? Because a lot of the stuff is in. I hate to say, but it's in the it's in the supplements. So they have specific books for specific handbooks for specific theatres, which have the arsenals in them for those specific ones. So I think the basic one is just for Normandy, and it's got the introductory handbook, Normandy handbook in it. But yeah, then like if you want the Japanese stuff, you get the Far East handbook, which has got all the Japanese things in it. Wrong side the Pennines. Cheers from Colorado, US. Now to see the Magic Japanese, Jim. Good to have you on board. So yeah, I was talking to Andy Locke about tactical developments in the First World War. The thing I'm particularly interested in anyway. But I was asking him about what these things were that he mentioned were called BPPs, Battlefield Patrol Platoons. And they were like an experimental thing. Hi, Stephen. They were an experiment. No rules for static AA, for example, wasn't Gotterdam wrong, meant to be updated years ago. Well, he is only one man, Stephen. You could put it forward as write it, and I'm fairly sure you would get a share of the profits if you were to do that. That's the problem, you see, when it's a one-man show or two-man show. A lot of the things that they want to do, they can't do. Can't really blame somebody for that. And these things were called battlefield patrol platoons, and there were basically 10 or 12 men who would be pushed forward to seize ground in front of the British lines, dig in, and then bring up Lewis guns. And I thought that was quite an interesting thing, and I wondered how widespread it was, and apparently it wasn't very widespread, apart from about 2 divisions basically. And then only for a couple of months before the development of SS-143, the tactical right side of the Appalachians. Ulysses Hills, tallest thing there is a local trash mountain. It's not actually for sale, neither is a Rising Sun. I ain't been shot, just likes the community supporters. I thought they were for sale. I thought the Japanese handbook is for sale. Is a PDF. Fairly sure it is. I've got a PDF of it, so it must be. Let me check for you. I'll see if I can find it. Here you go. This is some entertainment. Me searching. But it is an old game as well, so it's it is an old game and not as popular as Chain of Command, so there is a reason for that. Rommel's World War I career is worth reading about, indeed. It certainly is. Let's have a look. So yeah, you can get the Japanese bundle for £17. You've got Bashnaya or Bust, Operation Bagration. You've got the September War Anniversary Bundle, Vlipnid in Nav Berlin, which is the Eastern Front, Operation Sea Lion, Battle for Liberation, Blenville or Bust, the September War, 2 parts of that, Blitzkrieg in the Far East, Blitzkrieg in the West, Blitzkrieg in the West, the Low Countries, Part 4 Germany, Blitzkrieg in the West, Part 4 BEF, Blitzkrieg in the West, the armies of France, Rock the Casbah, Bloody Burma, Operation Cumbus, Cymru am Blith, the Welsh Guards at War, 39-45, Call This a Ruddy Picnic, East Africa supplement for I Ain't Been Shot Mum, Where the Hell Have You Boys Been, scenario supplement for US forces on D-Day, I Ain't Been Shot Mum, I need to buy some of these, Fall of the Lion Gate, which is a Singapore campaign, which I've got, Vyazma or Bust, the Defence of Calais, Anzio, what's that one? Mabasso, which is the African version of it. All American, the 82nd in Normandy. Sicilian Weekend. Blitzkrieg in the East, Part 1 Poland. There you go. There's tons of stuff. So let me put that link in the thing for you there. So there you go. Let's see if that link comes up. So what you said, slate of experimentation in 17 and early 17. It's units trying to work out what to do, and then it all gets worked out. Yeah, absolutely, that's exactly what it is. And also, as Andy was telling me, it's the influx of new trainees as well into the PALS battalions after the Somme, basically, as well, is another issue, because a lot of them aren't trained up to scratch as well, so they're trying to figure out what the hell to do with all these guys. Would you play Operation Sea Lion Chain of Command? Myself? No, I'm not that fussed. I'm not that, even though all wargaming is what if, I'm not that fussed about what if, like real what ifs like that. So I'd be, I don't know, I might be. I wouldn't. What I'd do is I wouldn't do it myself. But if somebody were to buy a load of, Dad's Army figures, because that's obviously the fun part of it, then, I'd play it. Like, say for example, if Dex were to get himself a load of Dad's Army figures in 15mm, then I'd certainly play it, because I think it'd be fun. But it's not really something that I'd be particularly interested in. I'm more interested in history. This is one of the strangest audiobooks I've heard, reading inventory from the internet. I hadn't thought about the new intake after the song, but makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Half of them couldn't even fire straight. So yes, it's something that hadn't occurred to me as well, John. But yes, it's they're filling up the ranks with people that just aren't as capable yet. So there's all kinds of nonsense going on. Do you want me to read out the Chain of Command supplements as well? Shall we do that next? But yes, there you go. Now you can buy all those. And actually, I keep forgetting, because I should buy some of those ones. There's quite a lot of those. You're looking at the Peter Pig Home Guard figures the other day. There you go, perfect. You only need about 40 decks. We have ways of making you talk and just getting started. Look at Sea Lion. You'll be including the war game from years back. Yeah, Sea Lion's one of those things. I mean, it was just never, ever, 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 ever going to work until Germany put the Royal Navy on the bottom of the sea, and that was never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. So, it's just, unless they snuck across at night. History buff primarily. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I think, I think the Second World War history is interesting in itself without having to do, a fantasy version of it. But each to their own, and everyone, it's a very popular wargaming thing. A lot of people do like it, so I don't see there's a, if they like it. And as I say, I'd play it. I'd happily play it if somebody were to put a Sea Lion game on, just to try it out. Because you can have all the silly tropes, can't you? Everything. going on. What was saying? No, on the chain of command button. That does remind me, I need to pick up on the First World War compilations. You do. You definitely do. Ended up buying Through the Mud and Blood just for the campaign supplement covering the Irish War of Independence. Well, good stuff, because I'll happily play that with you if you want, Dex, because I love Mud and Blood, as you know, so yeah, I'll be up for that. So if you put something together, we can get it done. I just don't like that brown on this tank at all. Just not sure what to do about it. Right, the next thing I needed to do was chipping. That's right, chipping. So now I'm going to do a really, really simple chipping technique for you. So this is nice and easy. Just need to find a bit of sponge. Got a bag of sponge down here. Isn't this heading back to the PCP conversation, fantasy war games? Absolutely. Some of the really, really Yellow World 2 is interesting, such as Iraq and Ethiopia. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff that you never really see on the table from those campaigns. Always fun. Right, let me have a look. Chocolate brown is what I'm after, I think, for this. You would love to be a German soldier being towed in a barge across the... Exactly, yes. How far do you think they would have got? Sometimes a wash can change the paint colour. Got a Vallejo vehicle wash. I do. I've got their dark filter. I could give it a filter. Perhaps that might help. There's some excellent chain of command PSCs on Wargamers Vault. Russian front stuff by Chris Dozen. Oh yes, I've seen some. I've got some of that stuff. Yeah, loads of it. Tons and tons. No, I want German camo black brown. That's what I wanted. There we are. This is better for chipping. Right. So chipping. Very simple. Get a bit of sponge. Get some tweezers. Tweezers. What do you mean? Tweezers. We haven't got any tweezers. I'll get me some pliers then. Alright, here we are. Got some tweezers after all. So we get our little bit of sponge. Our ripped end of it. Dip that in the old paint. Get some of that off. And then just up and down those edges. There you go. Instant chipping. And I'm just going to make this iron bridge look a bit battered. I'm going to do some rust on it as well, just to give it a bit of a look like it's an old bridge. That's the plan. I was agonising for ages about what colour to paint it, and I just figured, just do it green. Everything should be green. Everything always gets painted green, doesn't it? Doors, window frames, you name it, paint them green. This is also the way that I did some of the winter camouflage on Russian vehicles as well. Well, on a model that I made. Just a big old ripped up brush. But then I also had the hairspray method as well, where and now the chipping forecast. Viking Sierra, Cromarty. Can't remember the rest. Portland Bill. Southwood Sierra. It's very relaxing, isn't it, the chipping forecast? The real one, I mean. I'd like to imagine the fellas in their boats, and women in their boats, on a dark ocean with just the shipping forecast coming through. Now, if I wanted to, I could do a little bit of metal chipping on that, but I don't want to. I kind of want it kind of like a rusty chipping. And like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of rust streaks and dirt and grime on that. I looked for tweezers in the boots the other day, 22 quid. No light to explain to the shoppers instead of what they're for toy soldiers, not for my eyebrows. Doggerbank. I'm sure you'll be able to get them online for less than £22, Andy. That would be my first port of call, I think. Your uncle was on Crete. German casualties were heavy enough, indeed. Very much so. I want to do some other bits and pieces on this bridge. I'm still not 100% sure on this thing. Oh, I don't like the look of it. Let's have a look. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a look online for a picture of a Mark IV tank. Let's see what colours come up. See if I can get some inspiration. Yeah, there's a tank museum one there. That's in that darkish greenish brown. Oh, I don't know. And they've got the one at Tank Day as well. No, maybe when I've weathered it up, I think it might look alright. I'll give it some filth and stuff. I think, yeah, I'm going to stick with it as it is. I'm gonna go with it. I was just passing, like you do. Fair enough. But yes, I would certainly be looking online for that kind of thing. Can I be bothered to do it at the moment? You got a big pack of cheap tufts from Amazon the other day, and there was a surprising decent set of tweezers in the pack that you weren't expecting. Oh, that's always nice, isn't it? Nice little surprise. Right, I'm going to put some rust on this bridge. You think the Lincoln tank is khaki? Yeah, there's a couple of them that are khaki. As I say, there's a ongoing discussion as to what colour they actually were. Should paint it black and white. It's pre-technical. Well, yeah, that'd fit in, wouldn't it, with the period? And I could get somebody to colorise it, couldn't I? Oh, would that work? And here is the land and sea weather report. I'm not even going to pronounce a tent. It's kind of like land och. I'm going to try it. Sjolvara. How close was that? I'm butchering Swedish. It's probably exactly the same as the shipping forecast in the UK on Radio 4. That's quite relaxing. Just put some rust streaks on this. Yeah, so anyway, Dex, sorry I can't make it this Thursday. I know you've come out of the other side of COVID. Unfortunately, I'm away for work. Otherwise we could have done Kursk for the next one. So I've been looking forward to the next you understood it. You ones I see are mostly mud and crap. Aye, true. Very true. Anyway, hit that like button, folks, if you haven't hit it already. Smash it with all your might. Should ask Peter Jackson. He's probably got Mark IV in his garage. I'm sure he has. Yeah, he's a lucky man with the amount of stuff that he's got. What a collection. I don't know if anybody ever saw it, but he made a short film. He was going to make a short film about First World War aviation. There's a very short bit of it on YouTube somewhere of the aircraft taking off and stuff. It'd be great if he did. No, I don't think we'll ever see it. But yeah, sorry, Dex. Hopefully you'll be able to find. I'm sure you'll be able to find a game, but week after, I'll be up for it. I think if you're around. if you've not got COVID again. That's it. I'll be back from Lard Island, but I'm coming back on Thursday, so I'll be coming back up on Thursday morning. So I should be fighting fit and fancy free by Thursday evening. Sorry, just concentrating on painting the edge of this track. It might suddenly leap out once I paint the tracks. Should have faith in myself. Looks like more 4 tracks are black, but the brownish comes from the wear and tear. Indeed. Well, I'm going to do them in my usual metal track style, which is paint them black, rust, some oily steel, and then rust over the top, and then weathering. I painted a fair few Mark IVs in my time. I've got a good number that I've got for square bashing, which I use. We even had a German Mark IV on the table this weekend. Brilliant game of a First World War chain of command that I played with Dean on Sunday. It was one of those ones that I felt like I was getting a right hammering, and then I just didn't reverse it, but it came back right towards the end. Absolutely cracking game. What do you say there, next? Week after may be good. I was going to stay clear of crowds, but at a gig tomorrow, so that's the plan's covered anyway. Yeah. So yeah, it was a cracking game, and again we filmed that, so that will be out probably in a couple of months, I would have thought. It was we did a Kaiserschlacht battle, the Germans attacking through a town or village or whatever you want to call it. I'll likely give Blood and Valour a try for World War One. You obviously haven't seen my review of it. But each their own. Everybody likes different things. But yeah, it was had us both on the edge of our seats right to the very end of it. Yes, speaking of reviews, actually, I still need to do the Xenos Rampant review, and Dean and I were saying that we will at some point record a game of it as well. Although I don't know if my enthusiasm for it has died a little, but I'd like to try it out in 15mm. I felt that a 4x4 table with 28mm figures on it was just a bit too crowded. It's still a good game though. Did the Germans stop to drink the copious amounts of alcohol they found? No. They did get held up though. But they'd not done the looting just yet. It was still early. Still early in the campaign. Right, so I'm just going to do these little bits and pieces, I think, because we are coming up on 8:20, and I say I don't want to overrun onto modelling for advantages stream. So there's no point having overlap. There's no point us competing for viewers. And anyway, they'd win because they've got an interesting guest, and it's just me otherwise. Saying I might be able to field 2 sides for 15mm XR, 30 points a side or so. Well, I can certainly field plenty for with my Star Wars 15mm figures. So if you fancy a game of it, Dex, I can bring some down to thinking, unless you want to use yours. Depends what have you got. I could just have some stormtroopers against whatever it is you've got. Don't have to have exactly the same things. A couple of guys down at the club have been playing Xenos Rampant at 15. It looked great. Yeah, I think it would work a lot better in 15 than it would in 28. Let's say it's down to that big size that I don't like much. It just feels like you can't really manoeuvre. I think that was the thing about it. Does their channel have a cat? Well, mine doesn't at the moment. She's sodded me off, Terry. She's buggered off somewhere. She's I think the radiator's on, so she's found something far more interesting to go and sit by rather than listening to me witter on. Yes. Already it's looking better just by putting those tracks on, I think. I'm warming to it, shall we say. Yeah, I think it'll look alright with a bit of weathering. Team Timey. Curse first. I'm going to mix a sci-fi, mostly set in the travel unit. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we could quite easily do like a, pretend rebels against Imperials. I'd be up for that. Just to try it out. Because it is completely agnostic as to what forces you have. Traveller. The game where you could die while you roll your character. And yes, Team Tiny. That's the hashtag. Make it trend. I can hear a lot of shouting outside. I wonder if there's a football match on or something tonight. We're quite close to the stadium here. I wonder if it's carrying on the wind or not. Unless it just is the wind. That's the one, yeah. Yeah, I never played Traveller, but the legends of it are legion, aren't they? Things like that. It was the real nerds game, wasn't it? Right, let me just get these machine guns painted black, and I think, to be honest, I think I'm going to leave it at that tonight because we are closing in on past, and I've kept an eye on the time. So I'll just do these machine guns and I think I'll probably wrap up. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight's I Ain't Been Shot Mum supplement reading out. That was it was at least my favourite part, if nothing else. Yes, now putting the details on the tank, I'm getting happier with it. I think I'll keep it this colour. So it won't hurt. Alright. Well, I need to paint a couple more bits. What paint do you use for rust? You saw someone use watered down red rather as... Yeah, that works through the mud and cat litter. But what I normally use is this stuff. Florry Wash Rust. It's a clay wash. And it's really good. Best stuff on the market. It was produced for making models and things. Right, okay folks, like I say, I am going to say goodnight there. So thanks for watching everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly have. Jump over to Modelling for Advantage. Go and enjoy their show. And I shall see you probably in a couple of weeks, I would have thought, for another live one. There's obviously, excuse me, more videos coming, but live, give it a couple of weeks. And I shall see you next time.